going on.
Feel like $1 million. Want to check out that ring?
What's up, TMZ?
How'd you find me, bro? I got my disguise on.
What's up, man?
TMZ Sports.
Welcome to TMZ Sports. I'm Mike Babcock. My guy, as always, Mojo Muhtadi. We're going to start with Conor McGregor once again, Mojo, because the fallout from the rape allegations continue to play out in the public. On Friday, people may remember, we showed you video of Conor McGregor leading the accuser into the bathroom at the Miami Heat arena, where just moments, seconds possibly later, the alleged rape is said to have happened. Now, Mojo, we posted new video over the weekend, and I'll say this. I think this video has changed a lot of people's minds. Now, this is Conor McGregor, and again, the accuser, but this video was taken about 12:40 a.m., Mojo, on what would then be June 10th, about 30 minutes after the alleged sexual assault took place. And now a lot of fans and a lot of people who have Conor's back here have asked the question, how would his accuser, if this terrible thing happened in the bathroom, how would she have hung out with him? Now, I'm not saying that's what I believe. I think that this is obviously a very complicated issue. Sexual assault is very complex, but nonetheless, Conor McGregor supporters believe that this is about as close to a smoking gun to show his innocence that you could possibly have.
Obviously, we're talking about some extremely serious allegations that have the potential of completely ruining Conor McGregor if true. I said last week when we saw the first video clip of Conor taking this woman to the bathroom that this wasn't going to be anything to bust open the case. Obviously, it disproved one of this woman's claims that Conor barged into the bathroom when she was already in there. So it does raise some suspicions, but that still would not have changed what actually went down in that bathroom. Now, looking at this second video clip, I mean, largely this has to disprove just about everything that she said. Video shows that they went into the bathroom together. Video shows that they were hanging out, partying, having a great time afterwards. Obviously, still possible that something could have happened in that bathroom that wasn't warranted, but the odds of that being the truth is just very minimal at this point, we gotta think. Unfortunately, we live in an age where there are fake allegations all the time, which is obviously such a terrible thing because now people have questions and anytime there are real accusations. But this would have been a terrible thing to absolutely ruin Conor and everything that he's built if obviously untrue. And I got to say that people are probably starting to see through these allegations at this point.
Yeah, I will say this. Look, sexual assault, it's an incredibly complicated thing. I would not even pretend to know what someone might be thinking after something like that happened. But I think a lot of people are saying what you're saying now, Mojo, in that bottom line, why would you hang out with somebody if something terrible like that had just happened? You know, it's complicated. The investigation continues. I think Conor McGregor has made it very clear that he has no intent on settling with this woman in any form or fashion. Now, how do Conor's fans feel about him? Conor McGregor is undoubtedly the biggest MMA fighter who has ever stepped foot in a cage, and he's one of the most famous and most beloved athletes ever, period. He was in New York City over the weekend, so not in Miami anymore. He was in Manhattan. It doesn't look like the fans feel any differently about Conor, Mojo. There Conor is giving a bunch of autographs to autograph seekers, and it looks as popular as ever, Mojo, as he walks into his hotel.
And I got to think this is probably going to be what happens just about anywhere he goes. Maybe those people aren't asking for autographs when the allegations were first expressed, but now after a couple of these videos, I got to think a lot of people are going to treat this business as normal.
Now, Mojo, as for his family, you know, something that I wondered, Dee Devlin, his fiance, who he's been with forever, for more than a decade, they recently announced that they were expecting their fourth child. Then just days later, you have a rape allegation. I was very curious as to what the relationship looked like right now between Dee and Conor and the rest of his family. Well, everything appears to be fine, appears to be great. This was Sunday on Father's Day. Conor in Manhattan still. And that woman there, that's obviously Dee Devlin, who is giving Conor Conor a foot massage. So if you thought that there was any strife within the family, there he is with his 3 children, ND. Everything looks to be good. D. Devlin, the kids seem to be standing by Dad, and we'll see what happens here. I think the tide is certainly turning, though, and you've got more and more people believing Conor McGregor by the day. Coming up next on TMZ Sports, Jon Morant suspended last week for 25 games for that second gun video where he again flashed a handgun on Instagram Live. Well, the day after that second video made international news, Jon Morant sent another video holding a fake gun to family and friends, all in an effort to convince some of the people closest to him that the gun he was holding in the second viral video was not actually real. Now, we have obtained that very video. It's the clip that you will only see here on TMZ Sports. We're going to show it to you next. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Mojo. Mojo, last week, NBA superstar Jon Morant was suspended for 25 games. Of course, this was after that second video where he was on Instagram Live, again flashing a handgun. Well, there were reports at the time, shortly after the second gun video was released on May 13th, that Jon was telling people close to him that the gun in this video right here, where he was with a buddy, was not real. It looked to be a real gun, but it was actually a fake handgun. And guess what, Mojo? We have now obtained video that shows Jon Morant trying to convince people of that very fact, that this was not actually a real weapon, but no, it was in fact a fake weapon. As a matter of fact, that happened to be a lighter. So we posted this video over the weekend. We're going to show it to you here in just a second. This was sent from Jon Morant to family and friends, to people close to him, again, in an attempt to show them, hey, guys, don't believe what you're hearing. That was a fake gun. So this was Jon Morant on May 14th, the day after the second gun incident. Watch this.
Hold it, it'll come up.
Obviously not the best video to send around after everything you went through. I will definitely start this by saying I don't think this is going to add games to the current punishment that he's serving. I don't think the NBA is going to come back and add more games to the 25, more millions of dollars that this is going to cost him because this is an old video. This didn't happen after the punishment was given out, but man, just not the best thing to send out. He definitely needed to use a lifeline on this one and phone a friend to ask a buddy, a manager, an agent if this is a good idea to send out. Obviously, he didn't post it, which would have been amazingly dumber, but still sending this out to buddies where this video could potentially get out, and obviously has now. It's not a good look for the public perception. I will say this video would have been maybe a little better sending after the first video than the second one if he was really trying to prove to friends and family, you know, look, I'm not as dumb as everyone's making me out to be right now. It was a joke. It's not even a real gun, you know, whatever. But after the second one, with all the backlash he received for all the people that defended him and now turned on him after the second one, man, it's just better to not touch this at all.
I don't know why it seems real or fake. Ja cannot just keep the guns out of your hand, Ja. And again, it's not that he's breaking laws, especially not in Tennessee. They have lax gun laws, so he didn't break any criminal laws. But again, there are rules that the NBA says you have to abide by. Just stay away from the guns, Ja. Mojo, the party continues for the Vegas Golden Knights. That right there is their parade over the weekend right down Las Vegas Boulevard on the Vegas Strip. These guys are living it up. And Mojo, if they want to continue the party, the option's there. Let's say that. So, the Chicken Ranch, of course, in Nevada, brothels are legal. The Chicken Ranch, these are the same great folks who made the offer, and we reported on this to Jimmy Garoppolo. Well, they have now made an offer to the Golden Knights, a hockey club. And if the guys are interested in a little team-building exercise, we'll call it, the offer's open. The door's open to the Chicken Ranch. So Alice Little, one of the sex workers at the Chicken Ranch, here's what she tells us. I cannot express in words the joy I feel now the team has won their first ever Stanley Cup. So I'm going to express it through my actions. Dozens of ladies, myself included, are ready and waiting at the Chicken Ranch to treat the Knights to any and every carnal delight. And there will be absolutely no penalties for misconduct. The brothel is all yours, boys, free of charge. It's on me. Yep. On her is right.
Babcock, I give it 5 years before all the top single players in the world move to Vegas.
Yeah, really? Everyone's asking for trades all of a sudden.
Yeah. I'll take way less money. I just want to play for Vegas. It's because I love the city. It has nothing to do with the Chicken Ranch. My goodness, dude. I don't know. Well, maybe that's not even the case, Babcock. Maybe the Vegas Golden Knights are seeing that the Chicken Ranch has made offers to all of the other sports teams, and now they don't feel special anymore. Maybe it's not as heartwarming, I guess, if you want to say it, of an offer if everybody else is hanging out there. I don't know how that situation works, Babcock. Either way, it's still hilarious. It makes me laugh every time. It certainly probably makes you feel good as a champion-level athlete.
Mojo, I'm sure it does.
To have the offer, even if you don't go, and I gotta say, I'm not expecting anyone to actually take them up on their offer, because then they know word's gonna get out. We'll be talking about their evening.
Coming up next on TMZ Sports, after years and years of trash talk, Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou finally come face to face. Question is, what did they say to each other? We got video from the meeting that the entire MMA world was talking about. We're going to play it for you next on TMZ Sports. Welcome back to TMZ Sports. Mike and Mojo. Mojo, Jon Jones and Francis Ngannou, the two baddest heavyweights in the entire world, finally came face to face. And as you'd expect, there was some crap talking, and thankfully for us, the entire interaction was captured on video. So this happened Friday at PFL 5. Of course, Francis recently signed, it was last month, with PFL, and Jon Jones was cornering one of his teammates, a guy by the name of Maurice Green, who was fighting. So both men found themselves under the same roof, and after Maurice's fight, again, Jon Jones and Francis, who have been talking about fighting for years, this happened. Here's what they said.
I've always been king. Since the day I started this. And I'm going to die for you. Anyway, we'll see. I'll always be known for fight me, but not the best one. But I want you. I want to come down. If you kick my ass, Francis, you're gonna have to learn how to wrestle. I'm working on it. You're gonna learn how to fix jiu-jitsu. And it's gonna take you more than a year. I've been waiting for you for more than a year. Huh? My God. My God.
How do you really feel about it?
Excited. You know, it could have happened, and it can still happen. So let's see.
Mojo, I'll tell you what, they were cordial, but you could feel the tension. I could feel the tension, at least watching that.
Oh, absolutely, Babcock. And let me just say, I was there in Atlanta for this event. And man, I was so happy that this happened because Francis was sitting cage side the entire event. But before Maurice Green's fight, Francis and all of his friends and family, they all went up to a suite. And I was wondering if they were purposely keeping these guys apart, because obviously Jon Jones was there cage side coaching up Maurice Green. So I was worried that this wasn't going to happen, that we weren't going to get the face-to-face. The fans started to exit the arena, and then all of a sudden, everyone came sprinting back in, and it was a mad dash to get as close as possible as you could to these two guys. There are some real feelings, some real hostility. And again, wearing that PFL shirt for Jon Jones, maybe this fight gets done sooner than we think.
You know what, Mojo? It has to happen sometime, somewhere, and I hope it does before either guy is too old or past their prime. The great thing over the years historically about MMA and about the UFC has been that in boxing, the fights, the best fights, they don't happen because there's all this nonsense and there's politics. Well, in MMA, those fights have traditionally happened, and this is the fight. I want to see Stipe and Jon. There are so many fights out there that I want to see involving Jon, involving Francis. This is for me, for my money, this is the fight above all else out of any weight class that I would like to see in MMA, and it'll be such a shame if this fight doesn't happen. It has to happen. I don't care if it's the PFL, the UFC, if they fight on Mars, it doesn't matter. These men have got to fight each other, and I desperately hope that it happens.
Well, there's a show called Stars on Mars, Babcock. We already got Ronda Rousey and Marshawn Lynch. Why not these two?
Coming up next on TMZ Sports, a group of fishermen in North Carolina lose out on a $3.5 million prize, all because their more than 600-pound marlin was attacked by a shark. We'll explain what is one of the most wild fishing stories that you have ever heard next on TMZ Sports. Mojo, a group of fishermen literally lost out on a $3.5 million prize because the over 600-pound marlin that they captured had shark bites on it. Yes, so this is one of the craziest stories that I can remember hearing. It was a tournament, a big-time tournament nonetheless. Goes without saying. It went down in North Carolina over the weekend. It was called the Big Rock Blue Marlin. And the sensations, it's that boat right there. These guys are seriously big-time fishermen. They battled a 619-pound marlin for over 6 hours. They finally got it aboard the boat, Mojo, but they were disqualified because, again, the fish, the marlin, had shark bites on it. And the rules state, and they have for decades, that if the fish that you capture has injuries on it that puncture the skin, to include a shark bite, that the fish could have been weakened, making it easier to reel into the boat. And because of that, the fish doesn't count. So the Sushi, that was the name of the second place boat, they caught a 484-pound fish, Mojo, and they end up winning a multi-million-dollar prize themselves. The sensations just out of luck in the biggest way possible.
Oh my goodness, dude. What a disaster. 619 versus under 500 pounds. What a massive difference. Babcock, I think we need to reevaluate this thing, because here's what I'm thinking of. If this fish is such a beast, it could survive a shark attack. Right. That sounds like a superhuman fish to me. We got like Captain America down there swimming around unfazed by a shark attack. That should count for double. Right. If you see shark bites on it, if you're asking me. Dude, absolutely brutal. That sucks too for the fishermen, because I mean, I gotta think for at least half of those 6 hours plus that it took to reel it up, it's not like they had any idea that fish they were battling with had shark bites, or else they probably would have let it go and moved on, but probably didn't even know that till the end when they were already committed and multiple hours into this thing. But man, 3.5 million. Oh, that's brutal.
All right, Mojo, we are just about out of time, but before we go, got to say a big congratulations to Super Bowl winning coach Sean McVay and his beautiful wife, Veronica, are expecting their first baby. Show me a better coach and wife, a hotter couple in the NFL. They are absolutely on fire, and now they are expecting a baby. That's amazing news for their family, Mojo.
Oh, man, absolutely. Best news they've ever had. I mean, this has got to trump a Super Bowl victory, if you're asking me.
I think that is definitely true. Mojo, we have a big show tomorrow. People may have heard about this story. It's actually a really cool and a really inspiring story. There was a UFC fighter who recently won a fight. Well, turns out that this man right here has basically given up everything, has literally $7 in his pocket. And that drew the attention of the biggest movie star in the world, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Mojo, who has actually reached out, and the fighter is planning to meet with The Rock. The Rock, who also at one time had $7 in his pocket. It's an incredibly inspiring story. Tomorrow, we are actually going to talk to that UFC fighter ahead of that big meeting with The Rock. And by the way, this guy, he wants The Rock to make a movie about his life. So lots to talk to this very talented fighter about. That's tomorrow. Should be pretty great, Mojo.
$7 Productions.
That's
Gotta
it.
love it. These stories are eerily similar. So, that being said, should obviously, automatically make tomorrow the best show since time.
I'm a lawyer.